Hey Visionary, what's going on? It's Taria Vision Avant. And I'm so glad that you actually want to check out this video to learn a little bit about me and just really how the Show Your Success workshop came all about. Well, before we get started, I have to do this real quick. Come on, Crown, because he's everywhere I am when I'm recording. Come here, Pooh. I want to introduce you guys to my pup. This is Crown right here. And say hello. Say hello right there. Look. Say hello. No? You don't want to say hi to the camera? No, baby? Okay. Well, I love you too. I love you too. So we're going to go ahead and put him down. But trust me, he's like literally right down there. But anyways, guys, I want to welcome you again. And I just want to share a little bit about my story. I think it's always important that whenever you're going to an event or you're seeing someone maybe for the first time, it's really important to know who this person is. So again, my name is Taria Vision Avant. And, you know, I've been an entrepreneur now since 1998 at least. That's what I can remember. Even as a child, though, I've always had that spirit in me. But, you know, when I started a business to specifically make a profit, that was around 1998. But the problem was that at that point, I was a professional quitter. I mean, like I would start something and quit it, literally. Like I would start insurance, then I quit it. I started being a bondsman, then I quit it. I started being selling knives, I quit it. I started selling vacuums, I quit it. I mean, everything I tried, I was quitting. And really, it was two major reasons why I was getting started with stuff and I was quitting. Number one is I didn't have anybody to model. I didn't have a coach or a mentor, or even somebody that I knew that was necessarily personally having success in those industries. I just was hearing all these great things, watching TV, et cetera, and you know, I got motivated to do it. But unfortunately, the second reason why I know that I quit is because I don't believe that I had a respect for my time. You know, even at that point, I was an adult and I already experienced losing my mother at the age of 11 due to cirrhosis of the liver. But still, I didn't really understand how valuable life was and how truly, like, tomorrow is not promised. It wasn't until my father was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was actually going into October of 2015. And I remember getting that call. I was at work and they were telling me that my father was going into the hospital. And typically my father went to the hospital a lot because he had had open heart surgery years before, you know, and so that was a routine for him. But when they called me and told me, I knew that this was something I needed to come see him for. The challenge is that I'm at my job. You know, I have this bachelor's in computer science and worked so hard to get to this job, and I don't even have the money to go see him. That pissed me off, first of all. And then the second thing was I had to ask permission to go and see my dad. Well, when I finally got there and I found out that he had stage 4 cancer, I didn't really know how many stages you had in cancer. I had never experienced it. So in my mind, I knew we were going to beat this. You know, my father had open heart surgery. He also was a recovering alcoholic and he was able to help hundreds of people to become clean. My father was Superman and there was nothing that would stop him. Well, eventually I will tell you, it did stop him. God did call him home. And that's when forever my life changed. See, that's when I truly understood that our life is not always promised and tomorrow may not be here. And so we've got to get it going. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia 2 months after he passed away. And I started my own multimedia company where we were doing web design, video editing. I used to host a local TV show at night. And I just really thought it was going to take off. Like seriously, I spent all this money. I spent a lot of time. I spent over a year marketing this business and it never picked up. And then I ended up getting into the industry of network marketing. Now, this is not any kind of ploy or plot or whatever to get you guys to get into network marketing. This is for me to share my story and tell you how I got to the Show Your Success workshop and why you need to come to the workshop. So I get into this industry and I'm not knowing anything about it. In fact, I used to be so negative about the industry. I used to be one of those 75% tiles that never would entertain the industry. But I had met a woman who was making 5 figures at the time, and now she's moved on to make multiple 6 figures a month. And I just was like, wow, you know, if she can do it and I'm right here with her, I know that I can have some sort of success. So I get into the company. Within a matter of 6 months, I had been able to hit one of the top levels of leadership. In fact, I'll show you the plaques. So here's some of the plaques that they would give out. They gave me 3 plaques at one conference, and I had hit the levels of achievement so quickly that I got them all 3 at once. I was able to make multiple 6 figures with the company, and it was great. And then I got my first dose of personal development as well. I went to this conference. I spent $500 for a weekend to see this woman who was teaching stuff about personal development. And you know what, I was really intrigued by the personal development because I never knew anything about it. But what also got me was I was paying attention. See, this woman had this event where people spent several hundreds of dollars to come, over $500 per person. And then she was selling books, audios, trainings, all types of stuff. She was even selling a more advanced conference that you could come to. And in my mind, the entrepreneur in me is like, oh my God, this is a lot of streams of income that she's making. And so for me, it got my mind moving. So when I came back to Atlanta after the conference, I met a gentleman who was teaching people about writing books and public speaking. And he had this conference that was 4 days, or a workshop. It was 4 days, and I spent $6,000. I traveled to go and see him. I paid for my accommodations, and I spent $6,000 to learn how to write a book and how to do some speaking that would sell. So I came up with, this is my very first book, The Golden Rule for Making Money. It was actually originally written by P.T. Barnum. It's a public domain book, and I was able to add my own stuff. Now, I wrote this book, and this is what I see a lot of my authors do. They write the book, and now they're waiting for the doors to come open, and that's really what I did. I wrote this book, and I just thought the floodgates would just come pouring in. And unfortunately, that was not the case. I didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know how to get in front of the right people. I just knew that I needed to stand out in my industry. So my idea, I had a smart idea. I said, you know what? I'm going to go into another company. So I went into this new company. I joined this new home-based business and was able to do pretty good. Now, when I first started, it didn't start off successful, but after a year, we were able to hit one of the top levels of leadership within the company. In fact, here's some of the checks that we got, and I became one of the top 1% income earners in the entire industry. One of the only single females to ever hit the top level of leadership. And it was a blessing. In fact, one of the biggest blessings was we got this sword. I promise you, I remember just envisioning myself getting what we would call get knighted into the brotherhood and sisterhood. For me, it meant everything, because I was always looking for that circle of friends that, you know, we're going to the next level, you know, just always continuing wanting to grow with my friends. And so that to me was exciting. You know, I was going to be knighted into this, and I could bring my other friends that we were all rolled together, and you know, we got this sword. Now this is a real Excalibur sword. In fact, if you've ever come to my home, you can get a chance to hold it. It's like super heavy, but it is amazing and fun. It's funny too. When I got knighted, we had the chance to say our name, and I was like, Taria, Vision of Vine. Everybody was going crazy, and I almost passed out. But because it was like all the energy rushed to my head, I almost passed out. But it was one of the most exciting moments. In fact, I also had an opportunity to fly my mother. God has blessed me with another mother, as well as my grandma. I got a chance to fly them out so they could see me, you know, be this big star in this company. But you know, at this point in my life, I had hit this level of leadership, and I just still had that itch, and I knew there was something else. I knew that, you know, my purpose was a little bit bigger than just the company, and I wanted to be able to touch the masses. In fact, my mission and vision in life is to impact the lives of over 10 million men and women in mind, body, and soul in business. And so I decided that I was going to write another book. So I came out with this book right here, A Vision to Freedom: How to Truly Live the Life of Your Dreams. And in this book, see, the reason why I said I'm going to write this book is because I knew that as an author, I would be able to stand out in my business. See, I already knew that 75% of the population would not entertain the industry of network marketing. And so I still had gifts to give to other people. So what do I do with that 75%? Do I just leave the money on the table, or do I find a way to get positioned in front of them? So I wrote this book, and I promise you, this book is about mentorship, goal setting. In fact, if you don't have it, you want to go ahead and get you a copy. I talk about eliminating fear. I talk about forgiveness. I talk about a lot of stuff really in this book. But I knew this book would be the game changer. And was I right? In fact, I wrote it, and immediately I had people offering me opportunities to come speak at their conferences and their workshops. I've spoken in front of real estate organizations, bridal organizations, women organizations, all types of stuff, because I became an author and I talked about principles that I used to build my $1 million businesses. Well, you know, as they say, what goes up must come down. I hate that quote, right? But yeah, I was having some challenges. In fact, it was around 2013, and you know, things were looking great. Business was great. I thought I had found the love of my life, and you know, I got hit in the head with a ton of bricks. It was that year that one of my top leaders had made a decision to leave the company, and that hurt me tremendously. And then I also found out about a good girlfriend of mine who passed away from cancer, and it just happened all of a sudden. Also at that point, my grandma was sick. She was diagnosed with cancer as well. It wasn't back to back, but it was like back to back. And then on top of that, the love of my life, the one I thought was going to be my husband, ended up breaking up with me. And It was just the toughest point of my life. I did not know if I was coming or I was going. And so I went through a Great Depression. And that's what this book is about, one of the books I've written. And I was going through this for weeks, for months, almost a year. And I was going to meetings, coming home, and putting on that smile, but I was getting right in bed. In fact, this is what I used to look like, watching TV, phone right there, not answering it, bottles of wine, chips everywhere, tissue everywhere. It was just a hot mess. And it wasn't until my best friend, who actually said something to me, that I realized, like, oh my God, Taria, you gotta get out of this funk. And so I made a video. In fact, if you go to YouTube and you type in Taria Avant Depression, you'll find the video. And I made this video, and that day, just that day alone, I had over 1,000+ impressions, and my phone was off the hook. I had to turn off my phone. And I felt like it was an important thing for me to do, because there's so many people right now who are hurting, and they're looking at leaders and they're saying their life must be awesome. They don't have any problems. And I think as a leader, it is the responsibility of some leaders, I won't say all, but to really show that vulnerable side and show, hey, look, we all go through stuff, but guess what? This too shall pass. And so I did the video, and then I decided to write the book. And this book has gotten me on panels with doctors and all types of stuff. I never imagined I would be talking about depression, but it is something that has opened up a possibility. It's not what my purpose is necessarily. My purpose is to be able to impact entrepreneurs, but I know that it's a piece of what it is that I need to do. And so I'm blessed to have this book, and it definitely changed my life. So pulled myself out of the depression. So then I got a notification. I had started doing these lunch and learn meetings and all types of networking events to help build my network marketing business. And I got a message from this company that wanted me to host a workshop at their location. Now, I never had one, but I said, you know what? I've had so many people asking me about writing a book. I'm going to do a workshop on that. And I did my very first workshop. We had over 60+ people come. As a result, we've had several people who've become multiple authors. In fact, one of the young ladies who's a part of this book, The Change, she's not only become an author, but she's created several collaboration books. She has a book about fasting. Her name is Tracy Randall, and she just truly was able to build a enormous business because of leveraging her expertise in a book. I've had several other people just come. These are just I've had several other people come, and these are just a few of some of the books. I could tell you, let me give you another example. This gentleman right here, Orlando Haynes, who came out with his book, he wrote a book on, how to be able to get a job. Literally, think about it. Most people don't even think about writing a book about that, but now this book alone has opened up doors for him, and he's utilizing the System Mastery Campus to be able to grow his business. But he started off at a Show Your Success workshop. And then you have the collaboration book. This is one of our collaboration books. We have one for men and women. The next one we have is a co-ed one coming out very soon. And this book is all other people in the multi-level marketing industry with different backgrounds, different walks of life. And so I created a collaboration book, and many of them have attended the workshop. Evolve is another book from one of our attendees from the workshop. Her name is Mary Ned. Pre-sold 75 copies of this book before it even came out, and that's huge. But she's been able to leverage this book to open up opportunities for her. Now, James and Natasha Roach. This is Natasha Roach's book right here. But they have several books combined. They've started off, and they actually started off being System Mastery students. But these are just some of the people that are on our campus that are leveraging this information. And so I'm going to be honest, guys, doing these workshops, I've been able to travel all across the country. We have people that are reaching out to us in multiple countries now, and it's been a huge blessing. I can say that I'm the happiest that I've ever been. It is so fulfilling to see that, even if somebody attended a workshop and maybe they're not in the campus yet, but they've been able to take what they've learned and put it into building their business in multiple ways. It's a huge blessing. And this is what I know I was called to do. So that's a little bit about my story. I pray that it has inspired you. In fact, if you watch this video all the way to the end, I want to give you a special gift, okay? I want you to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this page. In fact, all the way below the testimonials, which you can check out the testimonials, but there's a small sentence that says, because you stayed until the end, click here. And so I want you to click there, and I'm going to give you a very special gift. In fact, my gift to you is one of my ebooks, and it's 10 mistakes that business owners make on social media. I think this is very important because once you get your book out, you got to know how to market yourself. You got to know how to talk. And so I teach you 10 mistakes that most entrepreneurs make when it comes to their social media. I'll tell you this. 80+% of most of my business has come because of social media. And so you've got to position yourself. And so I'm going to teach you that. So go ahead and get that ebook for free, for watching my video, for learning about my story. And I hope to see you guys at the next Show Your Success workshop. I don't care where it's at. Even if you have to take a road trip, I believe sometimes the road trips are the ones where you have the most impact in your life. So look forward to seeing you at the next. And that is my story. God bless you. Deuces.